Grant, I want to ask you a weird question to start. What's the most expensive thing most Americans own that loses value the second they touch it,
Besides a boat,
besides a boat?
the car in the driveway. And it's not close. Here's a number that stopped me cold this week. The average new car payment in America just hit an all-time record, $773 a month.
773? That's a mortgage in some parts of the country.
It gets worse. 1 in 5 new car buyers now signs up for a payment of $1,000 or more every month for a depreciating hunk of metal. And here's the part that should make everyone's stomach drop. Nearly 31% of people trading in a car right now owe more on it than it's worth. They're underwater on their own driveway.
Okay, so last episode, episode 26, we laid out the whole $18.8 trillion household debt picture, the everything ledger. Today, we're pulling out one line item and putting it under the microscope.
The car loan, $1.68 trillion of it. And it's the line item that's quietly breaking first.
And this isn't a poor people made bad choices story. This is a the math itself got broken story.
That's exactly the frame. The trap isn't that people are reckless. The trap is that the affordable monthly payment and the affordable car became two completely different things. Let's get into it.
So where does this start? Because a $700 car payment didn't come out of nowhere.
It didn't. And to understand how we got here, you have to go back to 1919. Because the car loan, as we know it, has a birthday, and an inventor, and a rival who thought the whole thing was morally wrong.
I love when an episode has a villain and a hero and you're not sure which is which.
Perfect setup. So, 1919. General Motors has a problem. They make cars people want, nicer than a Model T, more expensive than a Model T, but most Americans can't pay cash for them. A man named John Raskob, who ran GM's finance committee, comes up with an idea. What if GM just lent people the money?
And that was new?
That was radical. GM creates a financing arm called the General Motors Acceptance Corporation, GMAC. It practically invented the auto loan. For the first time, a car maker would loan you the difference so you could drive off the lot today instead of saving for years. By the end of 1920, GMAC had loaned out more than $46 million.
In 1 year. In $1920.
In 1 year. And here's the human moment I love. There was one giant who absolutely refused to play. Henry Ford.
Ford wouldn't do car loans?
Ford thought buying a car on credit was, and I'm barely paraphrasing, morally reprehensible. So instead of a loan, Ford offered the old-fashioned layaway plan. He literally asked customers to bring $5 or $10 a week to their local Ford dealer, deposit it like a savings account, and only when they'd saved the full price could they drive the car home.
So Ford wanted you to save up, and GM said, just drive it now, pay us later.
And that decision shaped the entire century. In 1918, half the cars on American roads were Fords. By 1930, 3 out of 4 cars in America were bought on time, on credit, and most of them were not Fords. GM passed Ford and stayed on top for 70 years.
So the history of the car loan is really the history of how Americans stopped saving and started financing.
That's the whole episode in one sentence. The installment plan didn't just sell cars. It rewired how an entire nation thinks about owning things. And every trend we're about to talk about, the 7-year loan, the negative equity, the $1,000 payment, It all traces straight back to Raskob's idea in 1919.
Okay, so bring us to today. How did a car payment get to $773?
Two prices collided. First, the price of the car. The average new car in America is now over $49,000. The average used car is around $25,000. Used. Prices exploded in 2021 and 2022 and never fully came back down.
So the sticker went up.
The sticker went up. And here's how the industry hit it. They stretched the loan. Back when GMAC started, an early auto loan was paid off in about a year. By the time most of us grew up, the standard was 3 to 5 years, 36 to 60 months. Today, the average new car loan is almost 69 months, nearly 6 years.
6 years to pay off a car.
And the fastest growing slice is the 84-month loan, 7 years. Edmund says about 22% of new car loans are now stretched to 84 months, a record high. And some lenders will go to 96 months, 8 years.
8 years. Most cars are out of warranty in 3.
That's the trap right there. The average warranty lasts about 3 years or 36,000 miles. So for years 4 through 8 of that loan, you're not just making payments, you're paying for repairs on a car you don't even own yet, while it keeps losing value.
So why does everybody do it?
Because the dealer doesn't sell you a car anymore. They sell you a monthly payment. Stretch the loan long enough, and you can make a $49,000 car feel affordable. The payment looks fine. The total cost is brutal.
How brutal.
Take a typical new car at around 6.5% interest. The 84-month payment is roughly 40% lower per month than a 48-month payment. Sounds amazing. But over the life of the loan, you pay thousands of dollars more in interest. You traded a lower monthly number for a higher lifetime number. And most people never run that math.
Okay, but here's the part from the cold open I can't stop thinking about. 31% of trade-ins are underwater. Explain how that even happens.
This is the spiral, and it's the heart of today's episode. A car loses value faster than a 7-year loan pays down. A new car can drop 20% in value the first year alone. So in year 2 or 3, you owe more than the car is worth. You're upside down, underwater.
And normally you'd just wait it out, keep driving it.
You would, but life happens. The family grows, the car breaks, you want something newer. So you go to the dealer to trade in. And the dealer says, no problem, you owe $7,000 on this one, we'll just roll that into the new loan.
Wait, they take the old debt and add it to the new car?
They roll it forward. And right now, the average underwater trade-in carries about $7,200 of negative equity. So you buy a $40,000 car and you're actually financing $47,000 because you're still paying for the last car on top of it.
So you're paying for 2 cars, but you only have 1.
1 in the driveway, 2 on the ledger. And the share of trade-ins doing this just hit the highest level on record going back to early 2021. Each cycle, the hole gets a little deeper. That's the spiral.
And eventually,
some people can't climb out. Which brings us to the warning light. Auto loan delinquencies, people falling behind on car payments, are now at levels we haven't seen since the financial crisis. Serious delinquency hit about 5.2% late last year. The last time it was that high was 2010.
but wasn't unemployment really high in 2010? Like 9%?
That is the single most important thing in this entire episode. In 2010, when car defaults were this bad, unemployment was above 9%. Today, unemployment is around 4.3%. People have jobs. and they still can't make the car payment.
So it's not a jobs problem. It's a math problem.
It's a math problem. The car got too expensive, the loan got too long, the equity went negative, and now even employed people are drowning. Subprime borrowers, folks with lower credit scores, are getting hit hardest. Their late payment rate just hit a 32-year record, the worst since 1994.
Okay, let's be fair, because we always do this. Is there a version of this where it's not a crisis?
There genuinely is, and it's worth hearing. Here's the optimistic case. 1. The actual burden of auto debt, measured against income, is near its lowest level since 2014. Disposable incomes have risen, so car payments as a share of income aren't historically extreme across all households.
So in aggregate, it's manageable.
In aggregate. 2. The subprime slice of all auto loans has actually shrunk. It used to be about 20% of balances. Now it's closer to 14 or 15. Credit quality, on average, improved. 3. Total auto debt grew only about 2.5% over the last year. That's not an explosion. It's slow.
So the steel man this is a pocket problem, not a system-wide bomb.
That's the honest steel man. The pain is real, but concentrated. In subprime borrowers, in people who stretched into long loans, in the negative equity crowd. For a household with prime credit and a sensible loan, none of this is a 5-alarm fire.
But the counter to that,
The counter is that concentrated doesn't mean small. That 5.2% serious delinquency rate is applied to $1.68 trillion in loans. In 2010, the whole auto market was only about $800 billion. So the same delinquency rate today means more than twice the dollar volume of distress as the financial crisis. And the fact that it's happening with people employed tells you the cushion is gone. If unemployment ticks up even a little, this gets ugly fast.
so both things are true. On average, fine. At the margin, breaking.
On average, fine. At the margin, breaking. And you don't live on average. You live at your own margin.
Okay, this is the part everyone's here for. What do we actually do? 5 moves.
5 moves. Number 1, buy the car, not the payment. When you walk into a dealership, the most dangerous question they ask is, what monthly payment are you comfortable with? Refuse to answer it. Negotiate the total price of the car first, the interest rate second, and only then talk term length. The monthly payment is the magician's distraction. Watch the total number.
Number 2,
Cap your term at 60 months, 5 years. If you can't afford a car on a 60-month loan, the honest truth is, you can't afford that car. You can afford a cheaper one. The 84-month loan isn't a financing option. It's a warning sign that you're reaching too high.
Number 3,
Kill the negative equity before you trade. If you're underwater, do not roll it into the next car. That's how the hole follows you for a decade. Either keep driving the car until you're right side up, or pay down the gap in cash before you trade. Breaking the spiral one time saves you years.
Number 4,
Make a bigger down payment and aim to start with equity instead of a hole. Put down enough, ideally 20%, so you're never upside down from day one. A bigger down payment is the single best insurance against ever going underwater because it front-loads the gap between what you owe and what the car's worth.
and number 5, the big one.
Number 5, buy used, buy boring, and let someone else eat the depreciation. That 20% first-year value drop? When you buy a 2- or 3-year-old car, the original owner already absorbed it for you. A reliable, unglamorous used car with a clean history is the most quietly wealthy decision on this entire list. The car in your driveway is not an investment. It's a tool. Buy the tool, keep the wealth.
Buy the tool, keep the wealth. I think that's the whole thing right there.
You know, I keep coming back to 1919. John Raskob looked at a nation of savers and offered them a faster way to own things. And it worked. It built General Motors. It built the modern middle class. It put America on wheels. But it also planted a quiet idea that's been growing for over a century. The idea that you don't need to afford the thing. You only need to afford the payment. Every trap in this episode, the 7-year loan, the underwater trade-in, the $1,000 payment in a 4% unemployment economy, they're all just that one idea fully grown. The good news is, the antidote is the oldest idea of all. The one Henry Ford was stubborn about. Own what you can actually afford, and let the depreciation be somebody else's problem. Preparing without predicting. Always.
Preparing without predicting. Buy the car, not the payment. That's Trek for Wealth. Keep trekking.